the City of Oregon City Arts Commission meeting for Thursday, July 18th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. If we could please have a call to order and roll call.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Amanda Allwine. I believe that Amanda is planning to join us remotely. Trias Andrews.
Here.
Karen Burrig has an excused absence. Tima Carlson.
Here.
Daria Loy. Here. Emma Lugo.
Here.
Josh Planton.
Here.
Choir is not here. And Rebecca Sierra. Okay.
And I'm here as well.
All right, if we can please take a look at our agenda and do our second item, adoption of the agenda.
Sure. I do want to recognize Denise McGriff, who's here. Thank you for being here, Denise. I also believe
There was the city commission liaison.
I believe we will also be joined, in addition to Amanda, Dante Posadas, who is a public works staff person, is also planning to join us. Okay, so sorry for that interruption.
No problem. We can take a couple moments to review the agenda for today.
I think there were a couple things people wanted to add to the agenda. Is that correct?
Yeah, I want to give an update on where we stand with the enhancement grant. There's been some recent updates, so I'll give an overview of where we stand there and just make sure everyone is okay with where we stand. And then I had someone reach out to me from the Arts Festival. We can talk about it, I guess, under summer events, though, about Oregon City Arts Commission's participation in that event, so.
And I also wanted to talk about the First City Celebration, but that could fit under the summer events also.
And also I'd like to give a brief update on our meeting with Jared with some of the things about marketing.
And then I would like to go over kind of policy items.
Well, I'm going to put your item last, Daria, if that's okay, just because we might not have time to do all of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Enhancement grant update. Okay. Would you see if there's I think we need a motion.
To add those 3 items or 4 items. Yes, if someone could please make a motion to
I
add
make
those.
a motion to add those 3 items.
Are there any opposed? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
You need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we had a second. Go ahead. We need somebody else.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we will add those items to our discussion items. And we've had time to review the agenda for today. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda for July 18?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a second?
A second.
Okay.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Hi.
Any opposed? All right.
Madam Chair, just as a point of parliamentary procedure, you do not need to make a motion to adopt the agenda. You did that by adding items to the agenda, so you really don't need to do that.
Okay, well, that's been our standard practice for the last 2-3 years, but that's fine. Okay, item number 3, approval of minutes. If you could please take a moment to review our minutes from June 20, 2024. And if there's any changes, please let us know.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Sorry. The best person you could have be live in this video at the time. I also wanted to give kudos to Danielle.
Correct.
She's back.
Have we had sufficient time to review the minutes?
Give another minute.
You should take a copy of this at the entrance. Take a copy. You're on it.
Hi, Amanda. I see that Amanda has joined us. The phone number is, Dante's participating by telephone, so we do have a resource from Public Works available if we have questions as we go through that. So thank you for being here, Dante.
All right.
Can you hear me, dude?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just making sure that I'm available and I'm here to answer any questions that need to be answered. My computer's not connecting to the hotspot, so sorry about that.
Thank you. All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from June 20, 2024?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approved for June 20, 2024 minutes. Item number 4, public comment. Do we have any?
We have not received any public comment for this evening.
Okay. We'll move on to item 5, presentations. Jenny Ellsworth, thank you for attending again our Arts Commission meeting.
Thanks for having me. So I brought the little ball back, and what I did was like smooth down the joints just to kind of give you guys a better idea that I really want all the joints and the flow.
Hey, Jenny, sorry to interrupt you. I want to make sure that mic's on. I think I turned it on. Is the red?
I see the red light, and
Alrighty, awesome. So if you gotta be close to the microphone so it gets picked up.
get up and personal.
Yeah, thank you.
There's also this cord down here.
You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that.
Okay, as long as this is going on.
Reminder, Anne, she needs to give her name for the record and city of residence.
Jenny Ellsworth in Oregon City, presenting a little maquette, and this is to give us an idea that all the tubing would be joined and flowing, so safe. And I just did it quickly white, and then I have little samples of ideas of what I'd want the ball to be. And then inside would be the heart, and we have an example of a heart that has, what's the word? It can offer things from the site to add to it. And this also would add, invite the engraving part. If we want to bring in the community, I can, in the long triangles, that's where I can rivet on different things that the community would like to have on there. And then the 2 upper parts would invite things, pieces from the site. So that would sit a little bit above halfway. And what I did is I kind of, for fun, I think this would be really cute for the site, is the concrete platform is a little up. It'd be fun to have the ball a little bit forward and touching the sidewalk, so it's like fitting for the area. And that would give us more visual on the road and on the ADA ramp if we go like a little bit to the side.
So if we were driving down 7th Street and passing your sculpture, what angle would we see it at from where we're sitting?
I guess, yeah, you'd be driving down this way,
Okay.
and there's the sidewalk.
Oh, great. Okay. Nice view. You can see the heart pretty well, though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be beautiful.
So I thought it'd be fun to pass around these 3 ideas and to see what you guys thought about what direction I'm going on. And when I got these little samples, I made sure I kind of curved it because we're working with round pipe. So as we play with it, we can see like, okay, headlights when they shine on there. This one was pretty vibrant. So with this concept, as I was researching final coating, this would be real easy to do the whole thing in one color and then the heart, the whole thing in one color. I know we really like the idea of the fade. That kind of went above budget. As I'm learning from this really amazing local painter dude, the way that he would do it, he'd be really involved with it. So he gave me a pretty good amount. So, and then we kind of like brought up an idea of a dark blue to light blue, which would look really amazing. And then, so that would be the higher amount if there is a little bit more budget for that. Otherwise, we're good with this. The other idea was to maybe do one of these colors, and then I can get him to do the inside a little bit different. Again, there's probable overspray, so then he would have to do a lot of stuff by hand, but it's not as intense as doing the fade. So we're kind of looking at different options there, along with the engraving part. Depending on how involved we want to get with the heart, I'd kind of have to look into that too. But yeah, I think we're on the right path for the tubing and the heart, if we like that style.
Do we need to discuss this at all?
I do have a few questions, if other people have questions. What would the dimensions of the heart end up being roughly, Jenny?
Roughly, overall height would be 2 feet 8 inches.
Okay.
And this is 4 foot 6 inches from the sidewalk, so that Dante is cool with this.
Are you asking the Arts Commission to give you direction regarding the final coding? Because I think tonight our goal was to finalize the design. So if you need them to make a decision, yeah, we could do that tonight. And if there's budget impacts, let's discuss that as well.
Okay, maybe I'll pass this around just to play with it, and this is where we stay in budget, and then if we are like not too...
So like in a house, like I understood that there seems like there are 3 options. One is the lower budget is to choose one of those colors is one color inside and one color outside. Another option is the most expensive, so that's the cheapest one. The most expensive one is to do the fade. And then the middle ground is one where you have a color outside the ball and another color inside the ball. Did I understand correctly? So those are the 3 options.
Yeah, so when you look through it, you'd see like the blue, and maybe like on the back end, it'd be like the raw or the rust, and then the heart would real pop through there,
Yeah. Okay. And do you have any... do you have a preference between these options, and also regardless of those preferences, do you have a color scheme that you would prefer?
I'm liking the blues, and then you'll see like a real nice deep red. The fade just feels more timeless or classy for some reason, instead of, I just see a lot of public sculptures and there's just real like bright and in your face, and I'm not sure how timely that is. So that's why the fade would be very different. But I did make sure to choose some colors that were not too bright, I guess.
Would it fade over time at all? I mean, kind of like an old car?
I was asking the guy that, and he said I forgot his words on the different clear coat. It was a really industrial clear coat. So for him, he said no. He's done some.
So is it the fade that would be over budget if you did it as the fade?
Yeah.
And do you have the amount on that? Do you know how much?
Let's see, we are looking at, so I put 2,000 to 3,000 for the two-tone ball, I'll call it the two-tone ball, and then 3,000 to 5,000 for the fade.
3,000 to 5,000 for the fade.
Yeah.
3 to 5 is and the middle ground is 2 to 3. And what about the lowest ground?
That would stay in budget.
It's like budget, okay.
Yeah.
So that is above budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting that guy involved. he is an artist.
I don't know that we really have much of a choice around budget, because we have such a limited budget.
Yeah.
You know, we are going to talk about budget appropriations and how the Arts Commission makes decisions regarding its budget later in the meeting. So I believe, based on the documentation of financial management practices that we're going to discuss, you may remember that we started to discuss it at our strategic retreat, but it was never formally adopted by this group. So if you've had the opportunity to read it this week and feel comfortable to vote on it tonight, I'd like to do that. We can formally adopt it another night if you're not ready to. But if you look at those financial management proceedings that I shared for tonight's meeting, you know, as long as you have the budget, I do believe, you know, depending on, I mean, we can't double the budget, but if we want to vote to approve an additional $2,000 or an additional $3,000, we have the resources to do so.
And I wanted to ask Jenny, so besides the colors, you know, that there are these two options that are above budget, are there any other items that are out of the budget?
The engraving, depending on how intense we want to get, I might ask for something, but I definitely want to throw that in there. She's a local engraver, so she's willing to work with me too.
Okay.
But if, depending on how we surface that and how much we want to fill in the art.
Do we have any sense of any sense of how much money, more or less, or kind of range
On the
on the engraving? Yeah. No.
I'm gonna say, I want to say like $200 to $500.
$200 to $500.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
that's,
it's not a large sum.
No.
It's a small amount.
and
Okay.
that's easy for me to, and plus I'm
That
outsourcing,
seems
so
to be
good.
lower. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then the budget includes the foundation as well, or is that additional?
That all includes in there.
All included,
Yeah.
Okay.
And can I ask a couple questions real quick?
Yeah.
Please, Dante, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening, guys. I'm Dante Posadas. I'm the representative for the Public Works Department. I also live in Oregon City. My question is any of the paint or colors extremely reflective? Is there going to be any issues with reflectivity of the paint, Jenny?
They do have a shine to them. They are not reflective. And since it's a round tube, I'd say it would change drastically. Instead of, you know, when you come onto like a flat glass and there's a reflection, it wouldn't do that. It would, since it's all round.
Okay. Do you feel it would be a safe installation of those colors, right? Not like say like, you know, a reflective sign or anything like that?
No,
When you,
I didn't.
you know, you have to sort of
Didn't do
choose
that. One has a little bit of sparkles, but
Because
it's
it's flat,
not reflective
yes.
like a sign.
It's gonna be like a tube.
Okay. And then my other question is, does your budget include any type of traffic control thought processes or sidewalk closure thought processes
Or installation, we're talking about?
for installation?
So like flagging, and I would say no. I would
Yeah.
imagine it does not.
Okay.
I do know at this point, Dante, we're not anticipating that any road closure or any flagging will be necessary. We will need to close the sidewalk for the portion of time when it's being installed. So that one afternoon, there'll need to be probably a parking space that we'll have the truck that's bringing the item park on Center Street. We'll have to reserve a parking space. I am going to reach out to the building on that corner there to see if they'll allow the truck to park in that parking lot for the amount of time the installation's taking place. But we won't need to do any flagging, and we will need to close the sidewalk.
Yeah. Hey, Hey Dante, in relation to the potential reflection, I've got here in my hand a few, the samples that Jenny brought, and I'm kind of like, as Jenny was suggesting earlier, to bend them so that we can see a simulation of the potential reflection. And one couple of things to note, some of the samples actually are matte, I would say, in color more than others, but even the one that are the most shiny, let's say, more kind of glossy, when you actually bend them more or less with the radius of the tubing, there really isn't reflection per se because of not being a flat surface, as Jenny was suggesting. They seem to be quite okay. Yeah.
That's fine. I was just trying to make sure that we're on the same page and we're working together to ensure that it's a safe installation.
Yeah.
That's it. And for the traffic control, does that mean that the city will be providing sidewalk closure signs?
Yes, we
Or
would
does
like,
that mean that
yes,
the ask is for the city to provide sidewalk closure signs?
we will need to do that as part of the permit process, provide sidewalk closure signs for the amount of time that the installation's happening, which will probably be reserved to one afternoon. But yes, we will need to put up the signs.
I would like to,
Okay. And
I would like to do
go
it,
ahead, Jenny.
is it okay to, if we do it twice? We do a test fit, and then I go put it in for color, and then we do a final fit? Okay. It should be, only take like 2 to 4
I
hours.
don't see an issue with that. I do know that there are some, potential cost of putting the sidewalk closures out and detours out, but it's my understanding that our department will accommodate that as best as we can.
Awesome, thank you.
I see Denise has her hands up.
So I just want to add that, just for Dante, if you could consider this is a replacement of a 7th Street art piece that the city put in back in 2016, when we were working on this project. So this is just putting something back, and it seems to me that the city should take care of the cost of putting up any closure signs or anything like that. There's no traffic control is going to be needed, but the Arts Commission is just following up on replacing something that the city had already done. To me, it seems unreasonable to charge this project for something like that. And that's just my opinion only. So if you could check on that, that would be great, because the Arts Commission is trying to provide money to replace it. And all the incidentals should be the responsibility of the city.
Agreed, Denise. We've talked about it internally, and we will not be charging for a permit. I just need to know, what is going to be required for signage and things like that whenever you do come in for the permit, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'm just trying to understand exactly what the needs are of the artist and the installation. But I agree that, we can put up sidewalk closure signs and we won't be charging for a permit.
And Dante, I would just like to confirm that Public Works has reviewed the structure of the art piece, just to confirm that there is no line of sight issues for intersection.
I have not gotten a final, I believe that this meeting was to finalize the final art piece.
That's correct.
So once that is finalized through the Art Commission, I would love to see dimensions and things like that. I know we've provided a site distance plan that, says 4.5 feet of height, and also allowing a little bit more height if it is has some areas of transparency. So if after this meeting you can provide a dimensional thought process to Anne or to the Art Commission, I will for sure review that and get that back to you as soon as we can.
Okay.
But as soon as possible, when I say we can, I mean the same day.
Same.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Well, should we go over the design that's proposed with the color scheme, decide if we want to do additional color or fade, and then vote on that today before we move on to the next item.
How much money do we have left in our budget
I think our
for the year?
13,000.
Yeah. It's included, there's a budget report discussion coming up next, actually. So if you look in the packet for tonight's meeting, there's a list of the
We could
budget.
afford it then.
Yeah.
It looks like we could afford it.
Is it possible to get sketches of the colors with the heart so we can, I mean, I don't know, I personally like full drawings.
I hear ya.
Prior to, I think that would be helpful, but.
I think I have some friends with skills. I mean, that's fun to try to figure out how to draw.
Like, but if I understood, like, what you were describing, you were thinking, the ideal scenario, if the money is available, is to have a shades of blue that go from either dark to light or light to dark. Is that like that? Is that how you're envisioning? And then the heart to be more on the tones of red? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, and also invite like other metals and stuff like that that could be a different texture, more texture.
More texture, there would be more texture in the heart, but in terms of color scheme, to Tima's point, it would be like the heart inside would be on the shades of one shade of red, and the outside would be like morphing from one shade of blue to another lighter or darker shade of blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, going up from the bottom up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be going to the sky.
And maybe I'm mistaken, I thought that fading was going to be an extra. Am I not?
Yeah, it's the $3,000 to $5,000 extra on
So
top of
if we
budget.
did that fade light to dark, then it would be extra money.
Yeah, 3,000 to 5,000.
Yeah, but if there's one color on the outside and then a different color on the inside, and then the heart is a third color, is that still within budget?
That one, no.
No, that's 2,000 to 3,000.
Okay.
So the one within budget would be that the heart is red and the ball is blue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
no
if there was
changes.
no additional amount added to the budget, it would just be metallic.
No.
No.
Oh, the nice, like those things that I'm staying in the budget with those examples.
This is in budget.
Oh, that's in?
Yeah.
So
for final
basically, the
coding.
three options are in budget is the ball is blue and the heart is red. That's in budget with these colors here, some of those colors, but one color. Option 2, which has $2,000 to $3,000 on top of the budget, is you have the heart is red, and then you have the outside of the ball one type of blue, and the inside of the ball another type of blue. Mm-hmm. And then the third option, which is the most expensive, $3,000 to $5,000 more, is shade that goes from bottom up, and then the heart is red. Right? Is that?
Yeah, because I'm involving more people after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would encourage us to be conservative in our allocation of resources because this is an exciting project and we've gotten a lot done here. And I think that, but we still have a lot of other things that we want to spend money on. Mm-hmm. I mean, last year, we've done such a great job last time around with really distributing our resources really equitably throughout the community, including to schools, including to theater, we did a lot. And I just like us to remember that we only have a limited amount of money, and so we should try to conserve as much of it as we can.
Does anyone have another view to state?
No, I agree. I think it would be good to have computer little schematics of the different color choices with the heart centerpiece, so we can decide.
I think we're trying to get to a final decision tonight, though, so we can move on.
I wish we had drawings.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to.
I'm more visual. I see that, I see the colors.
Yeah,
I
I
see
can
the heart,
visualize it,
I see
yeah.
the red, I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
So we do have 20,000 though for public art restoration. Technically, this is a restoration of a piece that was damaged,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So we could take funds from that. Is that, So since those are,
I mean, isn't
that's
that
non-discretionary, we
towards the
can't
meals?
just put that towards a grant.
Right, but that's, yeah, I mean, you
I
can
know,
sort
I
of,
almost wish I had put the budget discussion before, before the presentation. You know, we are gonna review what we have available to spend, both in terms of just allocations that are not restricted, you know, $20,000 from last fiscal year that we still have not spent, and then another $20,000 for the fiscal year that we have just started. So both FY '24 and FY '25 are available, you know, again, we couldn't double the budget without going back to a public process, but if we're,
okay, well, I'm just gonna be honest here. So I'm a big fan of Burning Man. I love Burning Man art. This spot has already been hit once by a car. I don't see anything that is different about where the spot is. So I'm just like, you know, I just think it's got a good chance of getting hit again. And so,
Yeah, Public Works, Dante, is there any chance the city could put bollards adjacent to the art installation?
sorry, it's just,
Or we can get some giant boulders.
Yeah,
I don't think that that's something that the city would want to do, and that would be an additional cost from our thought process. We've looked at different spots, right? We've looked at different considerations, but just encroaching on ADA ramps and encroaching on the potential to encroach on private property was the reason why we settled back upon this spot. There's a bunch of different art installations down the 7th Street corridor. And yeah, there's a risk there, but we believe that it's the safest location without having major impact to the Arts Commission budget or any other city department budget. Because if we were to move it, right, we would have to remove some sidewalk and build another foundation, which would be a significant cost.
I'm sure we'll have the insurance policy that we'll have for this sculpture is going to be the value of it rather than, and it was a very poor sculpture, the one before. It was made out of a mixed concrete material, so I think it was kind of more liable for total damage. But we'll have insurance policy on this to be able to safeguard it.
I have a question for you, Jenny. So, you know, given the perspectives that perhaps maybe the other options of spending more money may not be on the table, you know, to be discussed, but, you know, given that that is possibility, and given what you were saying earlier about wanting to have a diversification of color to make the heart pop more, I wonder if another option that stays within budget could be to, you know, in the first option, that is the budget one, to have the red art and then have the blue outside. Perhaps if it was blue outside and left the original color of the metal inside, and then you have the red, that creates that diversification of color that might make the red pop even further because the inside is darker than the blue shade. See what I'm trying to say? Would it be something that would be an interesting compromise that stays in budget, I guess?
When I talked to the powder coater about that, the overspray, it would be the concern when they're
So
in.
it will still touch the inside anyway.
Yeah, so you'd have to
I
like.
see. Yeah, so it's hard to control basically.
That's why I need to bring in the other guy to be able to control more than what he
So
can do.
yeah, so even if you were deciding not to paint the inside, you would need to have the other person in, and then that kind of increase the cost.
Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
it looks like the mayor has her hand up.
Okay, well, I think we should vote.
The mayor,
Oh, sorry, Denise, go
I
ahead.
mean Denise, whatever.
Anyway, Emma, I just wanted to kind of respond to your concern, and I know it's valid. But let me tell you what happens on 7th Street. So, you know, we have a very large traffic control pole there. that has the streetlights on it. People have hit that. They have hit trees. There's no telling
Yes.
people's driving abilities and whether or not they're going to be inebriated or not. So it's not that they were targeting the,
No, I didn't mean that. Yeah, I didn't mean that, no.
they were out of control, but some of the other things that have happened on 7th Street in the last 5-6 years have been, I don't know how they end up on the sidewalk, but those are things that have been replaced several times, so,
Yeah, we've definitely replaced many streetlights. We've definitely
And trees.
replaced, yeah, trees. It's just it's a well-traversed street within Oregon City with a lot of ADT. So, like we said before, the city will ensure that it's on the insurance policy, and we will, try to mitigate it in that manner. Yeah,
it's speed too.
right. I have one last question, Ann. Ann, can I ask one last question on behalf of Public Works?
Of course, Dante, go ahead.
The overspray, is this gonna be contained, Jenny?
It's not gonna get sprayed at location.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be in a powder coat booth and then installed on site after it's all done.
Oh, okay. Just making sure that there wasn't gonna be, extra cleaning or anything else that we would need to, be part of. Okay, understood. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I think we should take a vote if we want to increase the budget by 5,000.
Well, or
Do we have a number though? We need.
Well, 3 to 5,000 is not, we have to give the high number, I would imagine, yes.
I'm happy with keeping in budget, apart from raising the budget $500 for the engraving portion, right? Up to $500 for that part.
I think
you can
Denise made a
see-
suggestion in the thread here that the M&A could consider donating some funds to help with the engraving. I don't know what the M&A is.
McLaughlin Neighborhood Association.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, that's a nice option. Given that will be from folks in that organization.
I will ask, we have money.
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Thank you, Denise.
I'm comfortable with staying within budget. Just the color of the heart and then the color outside.
Seems like the majority of us are,
And you see
Wanting to-
Amanda's comment as well.
okay.
Sure, it agreed on.
Okay,
Amanda's trying to get on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
thank you.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I agree with staying within budget as well. I think the original design is fine the way that it is.
okay, so it looks like the consensus is, so we will not take a vote then. All right, thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you, Jane.
Do we need to approve this as the final design though?
Oh, yeah.
Or have we already done that by approving the budget?
Well, let's make a motion, please, for approving the final design.
I make a motion to approve the final design.
I'll
I
second.
second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, we have approved the final design. Thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Appreciate your patience.
Second, I'm sorry.
Uh,
I can take it.
Take your pick.
Okay, next item, discussion items.
And is there anything that I need to stay on further?
No, we appreciate your time, Dante, but I think we will not have any further Public Works questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, and if you can give me any design or dimensional things, I will get those back to you within the day, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Have a good night, guys.
Thank
Thank you, Dante.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Jenny, do you feel, before we let you, do you feel like you have all the information from us that you need?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, first item, budget report and financial management practices. So we have a draft of our 2023 through 2025 budget.
Well, I hope folks had a chance to review the budget materials that were shared in the meeting packet. My comment is that we're in good shape financially, but it's going to be a busy year.
Spend the money.
I do have a question about one of the points over here. There's more clarifications in the management practice document, point 3.
Do you want to look at the management practices first?
Oh,
or the
sorry, I was just like
actual- the
focusing on that
actual
first for some reason.
Budget itself.
We can go there later. I just like asked later. It's something that got my attention.
So I can't recall, is there an allocated amount that needs to be transferred to the next year, so 2026?
No, there would be a new biennium budget next year. So this takes us through till summer of next year.
And it's really important to spend the funds because that's going to set us up to be able to ask for the money that we truly need for the next biennium. So, I mean, this is the time to even start working on the budget for 26, 27.
Where are we to date? How much do we have, how much have we used in the
Yeah.
2023 year, 2024?
So right here.
Well, not really. It is-
Under
And
the-
do you have that Excel I sent you? Can you display that? I emailed it to you.
Not super
Thank you. I'll get that ready.
clear. This is like hard to understand how much money we have right now. Oh, wow, we spent $3,000 for the public art assessment. Wow.
So I did a spreadsheet with these numbers broken down based on discretionary versus non-discretionary. Anne has it here, and this kind of gives us where we currently stand. Some of these numbers are a little estimates, but I know we're spending money. I'm just not sure because they're expenses that we're incurring. So like printing and stuff like that.
Didn't want to zoom that much.
That
Somewhere between, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit so you can see it better
other one.
without it being.
The Zoom.
And we can see it all on our
We can see it over
computers.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we received in discretionary spending, 40,000. I have 2,000 for, First City Festival expenses. I don't know if we'll probably end up spending that much,
Yeah,
but that
we're
was
going to
the-
spend maybe $50.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah.
No expenses.
So that goes back in.
Yeah, and then down below, public art restoration, the 2023-2024 enhancement grant, insurance settlement, and the 2024-25 grant enhancement. Those income total 49,268, and we have the Kathy Rowe, art assessment, the statue, and then the Joseph Meek mural. If we incur those costs, that brings us down to 23,000 left in non-discretionary. So those 23,000 has to be spent on for the purposes of those grants that we received, which for the most part is all restoration.
Remaining for 2020.
And 5 till June next year, right? So
Till June of next year.
the 38,000.
I say June of next year, I mean,
30
like
extra
some of the discretionary funds are not tied to a time period, like the insurance settlement. But yes, we would want to try and spend all of this by June of next year.
So it's the 61,532 and even a little bit more, probably another 1,500 or more onto that we actually need to spend within the next year, correct?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, the 66,268 that Ann has looks like it would be closer, but that's what we need to spend. But out of that 66,268, there's the 20,000 that they gave us for art restoration specifically.
Two.
Yeah, so that's included in that 23,532.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need to start thinking about what we want to spend the money on. Of course, the non-discretionary restoration. So I think what might make sense there is looking back through the assessment, identifying the pieces that need the most work, and bringing back proposed budgets for each of those, what it would cost to restore them, and see how much we can fit in, right? Some of that's going to be just maybe working with Public Works to clean and wash them. I don't know what they can do, what the cost of that would incur, but others are going to be more in depth. So I think that would be something we can do and then talk about at the next meeting. So I'm happy to take the lead on that one.
Are you going to keep that within the 20,000 budget, or are you hoping to use other money besides the 20,000?
No, for restoration, I don't want to touch the non-discretion, or the discretionary. I want to leave that up to grants and stuff like that. I think that's better use of it, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the way that we distributed small grants to lots of people and really kind of spread the money out throughout the community. I feel like it helped raise our profile. We funded just some great stuff last year that we've been seeing the benefits of all year. I mean, I think that we should kind of look in that direction again. I kind of wish we still had, we had this like fantastic person who would write project proposals, who was so great. And
I will say in the budget that I prepared, so thank you, Josh, for putting this together, and I did include in what I put together, and that we would do another grant round. So I just made up a number when I was preparing this for our discussion tonight, that we would spend maybe $30,000 in grants. So again, that would fit into what Josh has as well, but that's just something to decide if we want to do that. We would have the ability to also do that, and that isn't, having another round of grants at the end of next year is included in the budget I shared with you guys.
Did your budget 30,000 in grants from non-discretionary, or does it include the public art?
No, it was from the allocation of,
Thanks.
non-restricted funds.
Yeah, I agree with that too, is to, if Josh does this study on what can be restored, including the 8,000 also, because we're not sure yet if we really need all of that just for the mosaic, and then take everything else and put it out as a grant. I think what happened last year, like Emma said, was amazing. And it went so quickly and so many people responded. It'll be great. I already have people asking me, are you guys giving out grants this year?
And it's a lot of work. It'll take us like the better part of the rest of the year to do everything that's involved in that.
It might be good to take time in the next agenda to review what we sent out last year and see if there's anything we want to update, clarify, and then kind of talk through a timeline. That might be a good option for next meeting.
So perhaps it would be nice to discuss different options on how to give those grants, because I can see many different type of approaches, and you can have say that we want to give 30,000, you could say that there could be maybe half of that for one big project that is substantial and is permanent, has got some permanence in the city, and then the rest instead in smaller grants for events, or, and that way you can have a lot of diversity and variety, but at the same time, personally, I would feel like, oh, what a missed opportunity if we were to giving away money in things that are, they don't have any permanence on the city, right? So it'd be nice to have a bit of a mixture where some stuff gets given to events and things that are in the moment and everybody enjoys, but maybe also set aside a portion of that funding for something that stays within the community for longer than, a weekend, say.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great thing to put on the agenda for discussion. All of our ideas on, how we can do the grant again. I did think it was wonderful that we had a small grants for up to 2,500, and then larger grants up to 5, because we were able to spread it out to so many people by doing it that way. But yeah, great conversation for the next meeting.
I'm just trying to figure out the numbers, that's all.
And I think I would like to work with our finance team, and it's been requested, different members of this group have requested staff to bring a regular monthly budget presentation. So if it's not monthly, or at least bi-monthly, so I'm working with our finance group so that you'll have that information.
So like, my understanding of the budget, Tima, but I want to be sure now that I am understanding it properly myself, is that that discretionary spending, which is really 40,000 because we're not spending 2,000 for First City, those are really discretionary spending that we could put towards, or all of it, or some of it, or most of it, towards possible grants. And then the 23,000 that is below, most of it will be absorbed by this work that you, Josh, are working on, you're gonna work on to find how much it would cost to fix various
Yeah, it
things,
would go
right?
towards like the mosaic bench or
Yeah.
other murals, pieces of art that we want to have cleaned up or restored a bit. So, yeah, that's how it would have to be spent, because that's what the funds were given for, was that purpose.
Yeah.
And that's, whenever we get to the point where we kind of decide to follow through on that and we've made decisions, that's a great time to contact the press, because that's the kind of story that I think that, you know, all like really would shine the work of the city commission most positively to the community.
And go through Jared for that, not contact the press directly.
Right, go through, right. Yeah, no, I wasn't saying that.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any additional questions, either on the version I gave you or that Josh just presented? And I think as we get in the regular habit of reviewing our budget, we'll feel more comfortable as well.
Oh, one question, I think has been said earlier, but I didn't capture it. So now this is like the 2024, 2025, you know, the 40,000. And so that means that basically, as you were saying, we've got time till June to utilize the funding, and that does imply that then in June we would get another 40,000 for 2025.
We don't necessarily get it, I mean, we'd have to go and ask for it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not a guarantee that we get it.
It's not
see.
a guarantee.
As Tria said, we should also at the same time start planning our approach to get it, making sure a budget we're asking for is in the budget that's presented to the budget committee.
Yep.
We missed out on that last time. We went back and asked for funds after the budget was already distributed, and they were gracious enough to give us some, but we would have liked, you know, of course, more.
I think the last budget, we did get in there for next to last meeting, and we asked for 100,000. That's what we asked for, and we justified it with these are all of the things we're going to do with this money. After discussion, where you're no longer able to say anything at a public meeting, you just have your 3 minutes after discussion, and there were people that were for that were going to look at different funding for us, and then there were other people said, no, let's give them another 40,000 like we did last time, and let's see, you know,
how it goes.
because they're too new.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I really want to kind of set a foundation. This is what we've done this year.
Yeah, exactly.
These are our plans for next year. We honor, so we're not going out for the Metro Enhancement Grant. Like, that's what happened. In order to accomplish our goals, we went out for the Metro Enhancement Grant, which is fine.
Yeah. So that I think is absolutely, I mean, and then like it seems to me that then for us to really make strong that kind of you know, articulation of why, you know, the funding should be given, is really to keep a good track record of the impact of our work and data, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to spend a few minutes going over the financial management practices memo that was distributed with all the materials. If people don't feel comfortable voting on it tonight, that's totally fine. We can do that again. But at some point, I do want to make it be something that gets officially adopted by our group.
Sounds like an alarm.
I think it's Amanda in her car.
Oh,
It sounds like.
You feel like, do we have to evacuate?
The only thing I see on here that I would maybe want to reconsider leaving in is number 2, just
Actually,
because.
do you mind if we take a moment just to read through them real quickly?
Okay.
Is that, I know we have a lot else to discuss. I just want to spend about 5 minutes highlighting some of these. So the first is, as I mentioned, this group's budget, the Arts Commission budget, is managed by our finance department and approved by the city manager, and that we will get regular updates from our finance team to discuss at our monthly meetings. The money for the biennium, as was just mentioned, we received $40,000 for the biennium. We are halfway through. Number 3 does say that we can raise funds through grant writing or through the receipt of donations, but that any funds that do come to the city goes directly to the general fund and is maintained and monitored by our finance folks.
Can I ask a question at the end, or do you want to go through the whole thing first, Dan?
You can go ahead and ask a question.
Okay, for that item is, say that we did do a fundraiser. Say that we're going to sell T-shirts with, I don't know, the Archbridge, 3 mural on it. How is that, like, who is the check written out to? How is that paid? How is that set up?
Well, first we'd want to establish a budget. So we say, this is the project we think we're going to make. This is how much money we anticipate that we would make. This is how much money we need to spend. Then as a whole, we would approve that budget before we started the project. So the commission would approve the budget. And then in terms of actually receiving funds, it goes directly to the city. So if someone writes a check, it needs to be written out to the city of Oregon City. With the earmark, it'll go to the Arts Commission.
Okay.
What if they made a contribution via Venmo or something?
Exactly.
How did they do that?
It was the same.
Well, again, it needs to go directly to the city. It can't go to an individual
Oregon
person.
City have
Someone,
Venmo?
right, and someone can't, like, you can't have, if a friend wanted to make a contribution to the Arts Commission, that's great. Don't have them Venmo you directly.
No.
Have them write a check to the city of Oregon City.
So it sounds like the only way for people to give money would be to write a check to the city organization. So we can collect, so for instance, to the example of the T-shirts, if people want to pay cash, we can't receive cash. We need to ask people to give us a check. At a festival, this sounds quite unlikely. People will go around with checks in the purse, but
Let me find out how cash
you
is,
can
how
collect,
cash
I would
would be.
presume,
I'll find out
collect
about
and
that.
just provide it to the city.
it would be, it'd be important to find out, like that. But, and also a lot of people, don't go around with cash.
That's true.
And they don't go around with checks. And so they assume that you can pay with any different type of, the various options that exist in platforms. So we should find out.
I mean, if you really think that that's a way that we're going to move forward, then I would suggest we meet with the finance team and talk about a way
think
that
we
we can
should.
set up for some,
think we should.
on the site kind of collection. I mean, you're right, people don't walk around with.
And even like, for instance, if we were, as I interpret this number 3, one option is the T-shirt and those type of things, but other options are, for instance, to go GoFundMe campaigns, right, and things like that. And when you do GoFundMe campaigns, the money has to be directly going to the city of Oregon City, but then we need to have an understanding of how to actually manage that in ways that are aligned with the expectation of the city financial kind of requirements. Okay. So I think a meeting would be very valuable for us to have.
Okay.
I found the meeting we had for marketing was really, really wonderful, actually. So I think it would be good to have the same for finance.
Yep, I'll talk with our finance team and we'll get something scheduled. And it would be helpful as we do that, though, if you think of other questions, additional questions that you have, to go ahead and send them to me. I will have the questions that have been generated in our conversation tonight. But if you think of additional questions, feel free to share them with me. And as we invite someone, our finance staff, to come, they'll know what answers to have.
I have a question about point 1, actually, more clarification. So the way I read the first sentence, it seems to me that, as you said, the city finance department manages the funding, the money. We, as Arts Commission, give directions, but then it says, and approved by the city manager. So, like, does it mean that we make a decision over here within the commission, then we have to send it to a city manager, and the city manager can say yes or no to our decision? How does this, or is just like the city manager is a tick the box to authorize the transaction by the finance department? Because the way it's written can be interpreted in many ways, right?
So that's in the law, that the city manager approves any disbursement of our funds. So, yeah, I think for the most part, is probably a checkbox thing, but he also probably reviews that as a make sure that, everything is legit. So, yeah, he could technically stop our payment from going out if we agreed to pay for something that we don't have the right to, or something like that, outside our purview.
Yeah.
Denise has her hand up.
Yeah, I think that is incorrect. What you said is correct, Josh, but the sentence is incorrect.
Yeah, that's weird.
The Arts Commission budget is not approved by the city manager. The disbursements get signed off by the city manager, but the budget is approved by the City of Oregon City's Budget Committee and then forwarded to the City Commission for approval of the entire budget.
Yeah.
So it should say, what Josh said was correct, is the disbursement.
Yeah.
So it gets looked at by Ann, then it goes to finance, they check off that yes, it's fine, and then it goes to the city manager for final approval. But it's a disbursement, not the budget.
Yeah. Okay, then
Thank you, Denise. That's a helpful clarification.
that's useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Josh, did you have a question on number 2? As we maybe.
No, I guess my feeling is that any kind of like more policy procedure document like this, avoiding the use of specific years. I would maybe remove that at this point and just say, to the point that, our budget is approved annually, we cannot spend more than that, what is approved.
It's approved on a biannual basis, not an annual.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Change the language to say the Arts Commission budget is approved on a biannual basis. These funds may be used by the Arts Commission.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a better way of saying it.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to continue, just go through this quick.
Can we do a fundraiser? Like, could we have a party
Yeah, we
or
can.
something?
It's 0.3.
I mean, if we wanted to, I think the best thing to do would be to make a proposal. We plan to have a fundraiser. This is what we're going to do. This is how much money we want to raise. This is what our intended use of those funds would be. And then you put the proposal to the whole group, and the group would then, would vote.
Then it would have to be approved by the city.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I understand.
Denise, would it need to be approved if it was an additional expense beyond what's already within the budget?
You mean the amount you raised or the disbursement of additional beyond the budget?
Well, I know that the disbursement of additional beyond the budget would need approval.
Right. I think that talking about a fundraiser, because I don't think you want to be super specific in number 3, I would add that to the list. I'm having second thoughts about it, thinking, okay, what do I remember that finance told me about stuff like that? So that would be a question for Matt, our finance director,
Yeah.
about whether we could do a fundraiser.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any other departments or boards doing that. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. So I'm not saying I'm not using the word can't. I'm just saying, let's double check
All right.
to
So
make
that'll
sure
be,
that's something that can be authorized.
The library does them.
It says fundraising event, so I'm assuming that covers that, but let's be absolutely sure.
Okay, are there any other changes? I presume we do not need to make a motion for the statement of the financial resources, but for the financial management practices, we need to do.
do people
motion
feel
for
ready to
adoption.
do that?
Yes.
That is correct. Do people feel ready making a vote tonight? Do you want to digest it a little bit more and vote
I'd
next
rather see an
time?
updated version.
Yeah, me
of what-
too.
just-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can table it.
You haven't even looked.
Because I captured that we are putting different wording in number 1 about disbursement, taking off or modifying number 2.
Okay,
Can you do a red line version, Ann?
yes, I will do a red line version.
because like, yeah, even if you look at number 9 on the backside, it says we would be having to give a update twice a year to the city commission, which is not a bad idea, but we want to make sure we are committed to that, that timeline.
Yeah, everybody else is doing it.
I think it's reasonable.
All right,
Are you talking about will or may provide, or shall provide?
This says will provide.
I know, but it's either may provide or it shall provide. Shall means you will do it, may means you might.
We might, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume that if we did this, we would say shall, but.
Yeah.
It's in your interest, I think, to at least give one update to the city commission.
Exactly.
I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely. I think twice a year.
Denise, I've got to see that tattoo sometime. I just had no idea. I've got to see that tattoo sometime.
Can you lift your sleeve up?
There's a story.
Okay, let's see. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
All righty. Okay, thank you for that, guys, and I'm sorry that we didn't have time during our strategic planning event to get into it in more detail. I'm glad we'll have a little bit more time at next month's meeting to go through it again, and I'll prepare a red line version of this for that conversation. All right.
Okay, next discussion item, potential community art space.
This is kind of a short, I'm sorry, do you have something?
So what we need left so we've got about a half an hour left. We need to discuss, I'd like to get the enhancement grant update. There was an update about the potential community art space. We need to talk about summer events. And there was another
Marketing.
thing.
Marketing.
What's that?
Marketing.
And the marketing, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'll make this really quick. 'Cause it is really
no, but
quick.
which order do we want to do this in?
Oh, okay.
I would say the update on the enhancement grant seems
Okay.
to be pretty urgent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the update on that is that Trias and myself met with the city manager, assistant city manager, and legal counsel this afternoon to try and find a solution path forward to still receiving the funds that were approved by the Enhancement Grant Committee to us on back in June, but now have been kind of held due to the fact that legal counsel mentioned or noted that because we are a quasi-judicial board in terms of the mural approval process, us being both the grantor of the funds and the approver of the ultimate project, it caused a bit of concern. So what we have agreed to do is I'm going to reach out to James and I'm going to have him talk with the committee about putting together a new hearing for the Elks to submit the application on their own behalf for the funds. And then if the committee approves that, then they would be given the funds and that sets up a bit of separation. We would still help them out through the process, walking them through, you know, the RFP process like that. And I'm happy to take the lead on that and then recuse myself at the final moment when we do the final mural approval, just to make sure it's clean and clear. But that's kind of where we agreed, the people on the call today agreed was the best way forward. Long term, they, to try and avoid the situation from happening in the future again, we talked briefly about maybe having a brainstorming meeting at some point to go over options for suggesting to the city commission if they wanted to maybe amend the law a little bit to give more flexibility in that case, or in certain cases where, say, the Arts Commission is the one funding a project, could we pass the approval of the mural portion onto the city commission or some other body to approve it? That was one idea thrown out, but it could be a number of different scenarios that we can brainstorm and come up with to hopefully avoid the situation from happening in the future. So ultimately, I think it's a good resolution that we kind of got to. I wanted to check with everyone on this here that, you know, there's no concerns with us moving forward on that process of working with the Elks to get them to submit the application. They seemed amenable to it. Teresa and I met with them earlier this week as well, just to make sure that there wasn't going to be a roadblock there, that they were going to say no before we talked to the city officials. So
I think that's great. I mean, I for one thing don't even know what an elk is, so I look forward to meeting them. And I think it's, that's the whole spirit of the Arts Commission, is to make more connections with our community. So I think it's great.
Amanda is an elk.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
No one.
Denise, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say it would not, my suggestion was not to submit a brand new application, substitute the name of the Elks Lodge instead of the Arts Commission, and have the Enhancement Committee agree to that change. That would be the scope of the meeting. And I can suggest that to James as well. And since I'm the chair of the Metro Enhancement Committee, hopefully he will agree with that. I was trying to simplify this as much as possible.
yeah, no, I get that. And I mean, I didn't really do too much changing. It was mainly just trying to write it from the perspective, look at it from the perspective of it being coming from the Elks. Some of the language would change a little bit. But yeah.
It's that simple. We just want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Terrific. So I can follow up with you, Denise, as you said, the chair of the Enhancement Grant Committee, to understand how that reconvening would take place.
We call a special meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I took an action from our
Even do
meeting.
it on Zoom.
Okay.
I took a meeting from our action today to reach out to James. So I'll email, and I can email James to get this going, copy you, Tony, Alex, Bill, and Denise on that.
You've got Ann right there, so Ann can manage that.
I just wanted quickly to thank Josh and Trieste for taking the lead on this, because this was not easy undertaking, and I know it took a lot of time, but I'm really grateful for your work and to bring this to a resolution. That's really wonderful. Good work, really.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
I agree. However, I did want to discuss the email that was sent to the city commission and the mayor. I think next time, if you could please, because if it's listed as from the Arts Commission, the Arts Commission should review it prior to submittal.
That's true.
I just think that should be standard policy, so.
I don't think we were even aware, because that came from James. And I wasn't even aware that he was going to include everybody on the Art Commission on that. So when he first came back with, his recommendation that it could be a conflict of interest, and when he included everybody on it, Josh and I were working with Time is of the Essence. We were trying to get back to the Metro Enhancement Grant Board with information that we had gotten from the State Ethics Commission. They agreed with us, but legal also from the city of Oregon City felt it was a little bit of a different kind of view and perspective than what we were seeing. And in today's meeting, all we wanted to do was go there and reach an agreement and be able to work with the city of Oregon City so that everyone was comfortable. But yeah, it was kind of time of got that letter out from the state commission and didn't realize that when James responded, he responded to everybody, including the whole art
Right,
commission.
but I think that we were actually talking about the letter that we sent.
Our response to
It
it
was in
is,
our name.
was signed, all of us.
But on the other hand, this is a subcommittee that we have empowered. So I'm not sure what exactly the rules are. Like, if you have a subcommittee and they're supposed to speak for the Arts Commission, maybe they're just doing what they're supposed to do.
I think that's a really very good point. I think it merits further conversation, and maybe even something that we can add into our stipulate. We said, I love this group, and the fact that the committees are like, people volunteer and they take on tasks, and this committee's going to do this, and this committee's going to do that. I think that's great, and we're going to need to do more of that to get everything done we want to get done this year.
And I want to say one more time, we're not subcommittees, we're volunteer members.
Volunteer members, but I do think in terms of Emma's suggestion is a good one, and Tima's too, that, let's make sure we put bumpers around that so that, yes, you're being authorized by the full Arts Commission to do certain tasks, but if what are some of the things you want to make sure you touch base with, at least the chair and the co-chair? So that merits a little bit more
Yes,
conversation.
I agree. I agree.
What did you say, volunteer, what did you say, volunteer?
Volunteer members, we
Volunteer
are not
members, okay.
subcommittees,
Thank you.
because then it has to all be public.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we got any more on that?
No.
We got summer events, marketing update.
And the community art space.
Oh, and the community art space.
I'm going to check this off like in one sentence. We were looking at the First Baptist Church for an event. I could not have them respond to me. The event that we're planning, which is the Battle of the Bands, we've moved over to the Willamette Falls Studio, which is an amazing space. Em and I have talked about using that space, the Willamette Falls Studio, as maybe a monthly event through, supported by the Art Commission. Anywhere from storytelling, poetry reading, but Willamette Falls Studio, if you have not been there, it is worth the visit. It is amazing.
Yes, didn't we have the meeting? We had a meeting there, right? Like our strategic planning was there, right? Yeah.
They have completely redone their lower level with state-of-the-art visual and audio recording equipment.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
it's really
beyond
cool.
words.
Oh, it's
it's
great.
really,
Yeah,
really
they got
cool.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can make a podcast there. You can record a show. It's got
We
a
have a cooking
kitchen.
show.
Yeah, it's got, stuff for bands to record. It's just, Melody is just this kind of genius.
And that's it.
I mean, this is a great example too of, committed volunteers taking on a great idea and here's the task, but I think it's important to define it and identify what the budget's going to be. And then if for example, we want to support a public art space, we need it to be a public request for proposals before we can determine how we're going to allocate funds. So it's great to talk to the Willamette Falls Studios, it's great to talk to various churches, but I think as we decide, is this something we want to do as the Arts Commission, we need to put a proposal together and then we have to release an RFP to determine how we're going to spend those dollars.
I think it would be good to have a longer, I don't think it's the day to day, but, have a longer conversation of this because I've got a few strongish views on the role the Arts Commission should or shouldn't have in endeavors like this. I just feel it'd be conflicted, and I feel there is a slight conflict of interest when it comes to us Arts Commissioners thinking to use potentially Arts Commission funds for things or events, monthly occurrences, organized by the Commission itself. I kind of feel that we should be more a organization that gives opportunity to different type of organization to get funding to do their events. But I think when we start having ourselves playing the role as a commission, individual members they can do, of course, the private citizens, but as a commission, if we start taking role of organizing events and things like that, I feel very conflicted because we're taking away funding from other groups and entities and organizations, but also there is a conflict of interest from a budgetary perspective. So I would feel more comfortable if that was something that some members of the commission, together with other people, organize, and we as our commissioners encourage and support in the same fashion and ways in which we would encourage and support many other events and organizations in the city.
And that has never been my intention or thought, is to use funds from the Art Commission. This is strictly bringing arts into Oregon City. For the Battle of the Bands, we're in fact working with the Porch Fest for any funds that we might need. But that is not something I've never thought of. It's absolutely worth a discussion. But I agree with that. I think once it gets to that point where we're doing these things as fun, I think it's a whole different story, that the funds go out to that. I think these are things that different members of the Art Commission support.
Yeah, exactly.
But not
Yeah.
necessarily financially as the art
Yeah,
commission.
yeah.
We support it in spirit.
Yes, I think
yeah.
that is, I feel more comfortable with that, otherwise you would
Right.
feel, the conflict of interest is a little bit,
Absolutely, I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
I do have a potential lead on a space maybe 10, 20 years from now. I attended the Two Rivers Neighborhood Association where the Grand Ronde talked about the future development that's going to be taking place. And there are 3 flex buildings that they want to work with the community on. And there's also going to be an event space as well. So there's a lot of potential that we need to have dialogue with to see if we can get something
Exciting.
worked
That'd
on.
be really awesome, yes.
How are they getting around the brownfield issues? There isn't,
They have an environmental consultant that they're, and funding from the federal government as well on it,
That is gonna take probably 10 years plus.
probably.
That is exciting.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Are we ready to move on to summer events?
Yes. Can I go? First City Celebration, who can help me? I can bring the equipment, can set the tent up. I have to leave at 4. Can anybody come and help me at the First City Celebration?
I can help you
Please,
off
please.
and on. I'll be at Soul Place, but I can
Yeah,
help you.
exactly, I can help off and on too, because
If you
I'll
could
be
even
there
run
for-
over at 4, I'm pretty much okay
Potty
with
breaks,
managing it on my
whatever.
own.
Yeah.
But if you can run over at 4 o'clock and help and then take down, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I mean, I don't want,
Is this a separate booth space, or are you going in with the city's booth?
No, we have a separate booth
Separate.
space. I talked to Juliana, and it is free for us because we are under the city, but we have a separate 10 by 10 booth just for the art commission.
I mean, I can try to help, but you know, I have 3 booths to take down at the end of the
okay.
day, so that would be a little bit.
And I do have an email into Juliana. I said, first of all, is it acceptable, is it permissible for me to take down early if I need to?
She said no to me, like we had another artist that wanted to put, and she wanted to go away at 4, and she said no, because this is difficult with traffic, right, and moving
Yeah.
liability.
And I asked her if it was potentially okay to, if I took it down, if I could just put it inside DOCA and pick it up at a later time.
I have a question, so how much stuff do you expect to want to have?
Yeah, that's what I have with me also. So this is the idea. I have a 8-foot table. It's a 10 by 10 tent, which Ann is going to lend us. There's going to be a 3-ply display board, 11 inches, 22 inches, 11 inches. I'm just making it like it's your kid's science fair. So this is what it's going to look like. You can just pass those down for everybody to take a look.
If you hand me one, I can try to show it to Amanda.
Okay.
Do you have something to help keep it from blowing over?
I'll have like jugs.
Display boards, they will fall over.
Right. Yeah, me and my husband, who used to make museums, used to work for a company that created museums, we're putting our heads together on how to make it stay on the table without it going over.
So I have something to give you then for this.
Yes.
So I made, these are just, like drafts of a potential Arts Commission postcards that we could have there. I'm just gonna pass one.
You know what I forgot to bring with me? I bought a suggestion box because what this
This is actually, sorry, it's just not for the art. This is more something that you could actually have on the wall. So the concept of this is that, art for every heart is the kind of the motto of the Arts Commission that we were playing with. And so this space here means that people can actually fill in with what they want. So here is an example. I put local art for every heart, or diverse art for every heart, or wonderful art for. So the idea is that we could give that as a way, is our motto, and then in the back there is, it's a mock-up obviously, but there is like a sentence that discusses who we are, link with the QR code to our website on the City of Oregon City, and also the hashtag that we are using on Instagram and Facebook, and that would be a nice thing, and the way I was thinking about this is that, we could give them, and then people can write, and you can pin them, right, onto a board over there.
Right. What I I was going to do, if you're agreeable to this, is this last section says, because the first two sections are going to be pictures of everything we've done and everything we're in the middle of right now. The last section is, what do you want to see as the public for future art? And then I have these questions. You want a music event? So I would like to use these for people to write their suggestion. And then I bought a suggestion box that has a slot, and all they have to do is fold it and stick it in.
Maybe there are two different things, because that one is for us to receive. This is for them to learn about us. So it's an explanation of what we do. So maybe we should have two of those,
Two.
you know.
Let's have two.
One is suggestion box, and I'm happy to help if you need any help with
Love
that.
it. You can supply me with those cards. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I mean, I can do the mock-up, and then we'll need to have them, take them to bureaus and have them printed.
Okay.
These are printed them on my printer, but, you know, they're not the right quality that we want to see, right? It's just for us to have a look. But we could do something,
Yes,
suggestion box.
absolutely. Let's get together and we'll get the
Yeah.
cards ready for
Sounds
it.
great. Awesome.
Remind me the date of the
Amanda's
first city.
had her hand up.
It's a week from Saturday.
Amanda's
Amanda
had her
has her
hand
hand
up for a
down.
while, please.
Amanda, go ahead.
Thanks, I know it's hard when I'm on Zoom. Chance, I'm gonna be around that whole day, so we can talk about like getting the stuff out of there. I probably can help with that.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's all I need.
The other thing I wanted to offer, and I know it's not time to talk about Porch Fest yet, but we can set the same thing up at Porch Fest if you'd like. We've got a couple of stage locations, so we can talk about that later too, if anybody wants to man a table at Porch Fest.
That sounds like a good idea.
Stuff that we're gonna have at First City.
And then these are the questions I have for the commission. When I include the projects that we're working on and supporting now, are you comfortable with things we support in spirit that we're able to maybe have some flyers? If we have the Battle of the Bands, we have Porch Fest, we have the Imperfecta Gallery, that these are, is that okay? And would we like to include that? So that these are the different art programs that we support in spirit.
Yeah,
Or,
I feel comfortable provided that we are equitable and we include everyone, like, you know, that has got to do with different types of arts, you know, performing, you know, fine arts has got many different faces, right? And so I have no problem, but I would want to ensure that we are, you know, equitable with providing support to all of them. Like Soul Flag would be one example, right? And then TRAG would be another one. So we want to be,
That we submitted.
yeah, we want to be,
yeah,
you know.
that's gonna be all the pictures are all the grants that we did.
Yeah.
The sculpture that's coming in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have so many pictures. That'll be, what have we done? What are we supporting at this right now? And then have flyers for, if you wanna include something from Imperfecta Gallery, if you wanna include something from Soul Flags.
Exhibitions and.
Yeah, Porch Fest, Battle
Would it be
Bands.
worth taking, I don't know if it's possible, but taking a stack of just the comment cards that we do here for our meetings and having people.
That's
fill
Maybe
those out?
a calendar of our upcoming
And then
meetings.
people
for-
can submit those.
Yeah,
for the
that'd be a good
meeting.
idea.
So were those available, Ian? Those little comment cards that you have to fill? Well, how big are they though?
Yeah, like
They're like
this.
this,
Yeah,
I think.
yes.
Because that could be used actually for this
Yeah,
suggestion
that could
box.
be in the box. We could use yours to give out. And the last thing is, this little display board is Oregon City Arts Commission. Do we want to purchase a banner that goes on a 10-foot tent? That just says Oregon City Arts Commission. What's the logo we need to use?
Oh, no, that's
Whatever
not
you get approved
we can't use the, okay, that's part of the marketing thing. We can't use the logo that is in because we had the meeting, and the logo is, we don't have yet the official one, but I made a mock-up based on what we were told it's gonna look like, but it's gonna look like that. So it's gonna be Oregon City, and then under it is gonna say Arts Commission.
How about for this one then? I just have.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt for the two folks that are participating by Zoom. So our communications folks have been talking with with Jared Lyman, the communications manager here at the city, and what we are thinking is the standard horizontal city logo that then says Oregon Arts Commission
As
under it.
commission,
Right.
as a commission, yeah. So
How
it's,
about for this event, I'm gonna just do it in paper, have it 10 feet, I'm gonna tape it right up on the front of the tent, and then we'll have the display
I
board.
mean, we can kind of do like the Oregon City, and then Arts Commission, and I think it would be aligned with the Jared kind of guidelines on what we can do.
All right, so if you wanna give me the logo that's ready for print, I'll have a banner.
We've been waiting for it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, if it's not ready yet.
That's why I made it up right here, just
Yeah,
like,
gotcha.
yeah.
That's it, I'm good, thanks, everybody.
Maybe we can try to see if we can have his, the logo as soon as possible. I think he sent an email recently, but hopefully
He
we can.
needs to meet, he's apologizes. He normally meets with our city manager once a week or pretty regularly, and it's just, they haven't
Because for
connected.
the postcards to print, if we bring them to Buell's, they are pretty quick in doing it, 24 hours turnaround. But if we want to print the banner, that might be a little bit tricky if we.
Yeah, I'll do one, like a 10-foot paper banner.
Yeah.
Beals do it, because my printer won't do 10 feet, and I'll just have Oregon City Arts, it's all different colors, commission, and then,
Yeah.
We should actually, we should talk before you do that.
Yeah, they were like, there are heavy restrictions on what we can write.
I'll check with you guys.
Turns out,
Thing.
yeah, like I asked for the stickers that we were thinking.
Yeah.
And the only stickers that we could do is actually to have a sticker like that, which is like nobody would ever kind of use. And so, but we can't have our more kind of flamboyant or kind of the design that we did here. We can't, and we cannot even do things like one suggestion that we had, hey, maybe we print stickers of Oregon City artist artworks so that, with written the logo, the specific logo that we're given, but also that was a no, because then which artist you select and why, people will be upset if you select one person versus another. And so the sticker idea, that's why this came about, the postcard, because the sticker and t-shirt idea became difficult.
What about, can we have a picture of John McLaughlin drinking a beer? Would that be okay?
I can bring that to the commission.
I know we're over time. Real quick though,
I'm done.
I was contacted by someone at the Oregon City Arts Festival about whether or not we wanted to do the same kind of booth at theirs. I didn't get pricing from them yet, but I wanted to see if that's something we want to pursue.
Is that the arts, the track
of the
event?
Arts.
Oh, Festival of
Track.
the Arts, okay.
Yeah.
Is that something we want to pursue? If we just
I
basically
would say
duplicate
so.
what it
And
sounds like we're doing?
If worse comes to worse, you could be at Soul Flags.
Okay,
And
Yeah.
Linda Orzen told me there wouldn't be a charge to us.
So,
okay, good. So yeah, then that would be something we need to approve, I guess, to be participating in that festival as well.
are we also at the Porch Fest too? Because that's all the same weekend. I think next year, people, let's spread it out.
Why is it?
I think we should actually push it further and say we just do Arts Week, right? And just do all these kinds of events at once.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
So I think that the track event wraps up right before Porch Fest starts, so who wants to have a real long day?
Yeah, the Festival of the Arts is the 9th and the 10th,
Yeah, it's
10
the
and
9th
11.
the
and
10th and the 11th, Saturday and Sunday. Porch Fest is Friday and Saturday.
Oh,
So there's one day that you kind of
Overlap.
overlap.
okay, that's good.
Except I think that the track event's in the day and then Porch Fest is at night.
Oh, that's right. Ooh,
That's a
Yes.
long day.
So is that a, yes, we want to move forward with that, we should reach out and,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Like, I can reach out to them and register us as but we just need to make sure we have commitments. Like, I'm available during First City, but I'm not available during the Arts Festival. Yeah.
well, if worse comes to worse, we can have it at the large seating area where Soul Flags is for the kids' activities.
Can we do a poll out to all the commissioners about who's available that weekend and then see what it comes back as? And
You
then,
might want to have some information at Neighbors Night Out on August the 6th.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm not saying you have a separate, there's gonna be a city tables, and you guys can just have some stuff there.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. And how we gonna go about the printing, the logistic question? So if we want to have yours doing the printing, should I send you the file and you handle everything because it has to be through the city budget? Okay, awesome.
All right, so I will register us for the, Robert, you took care of First City, I can take care of Festival of the Arts, registration for a table.
And do we want to do a separate card for the question booth, or do you want to reuse the one that already exists?
Let me check and see what's
they
there
look
and
like,
if it'll
yeah.
work. And I might
awesome.
even get index cards, blank
It's so
index
easy.
cards and say,
I
hey.
would do
right?
that, because it's easier, just like,
Color a picture.
you put the question on the wall and then they can
Yeah.
write.
Yes, I think that's
It's so easy.
easy peasy.
I think Amanda's asked us if we want to do Porch Fest too, so are we going to do Porch Fest or?
Is there a central area where Porch Fest like begins or?
Yeah, actually, we have a main stage at the Willamette Falls Studios this year and a festival stage at Elevate Plaza. And we also have a library stage and a stage at Madison Tap Room. But I think that the vendors and merch and info and stuff like that will be centered at the Willamette Falls stage, which will be the main stage, and then at Elevate Plaza, which will be the festival stage. So either one of those would be an appropriate place to set that up.
Okay.
Do we have the people power to make it happen, or do we?
I mean, do we have to be there? Can we set up a booth that we're at sometimes, but we don't, I mean, do we need to be there all the time?
Yeah,
I would think we'd want someone at least
yeah.
present.
So we would have to do a roster
Yeah, I
routine.
think at Porch Fest would be fine to just kind of leave it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
You just want to have it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the Clackamas County Pedestrian Bike Access Committee, and sometimes we do that. I mean, we'll set something up. We'll be there part of the day. For the other part of the day, we'll have the display out, the information. You know, people can come and take things if they're curious. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to be there as much as we can. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else for discussion items? Okay.
We fit a lot.
We did fit a lot in. Communications, we're gonna table the financial management practices to our next meeting in August. Any other items?
For August, but didn't you have you had also another item you wanted to discuss earlier?
Oh, we talked about it,
The communication.
the policy.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
thought there was more to it, okay.
No. All right, well, we're gonna adjourn.
Oh, I actually have like one information, because he's an Oregon City artist, so I hope you can all support her. So in 10th of August, 5 to 7 is the opening reception for the solo show of Erin Redding. She's a ceramic artist from Oregon City. She's also the vice president of TRAG, and is the first show she ever does. And so it's kind of important for her, and she's an Oregon City artist. And so I really sincerely hope that you can support her and come to her opening.
When is her show? I'm excited.
August 10, and it starts, so it's for this month of August. The opening reception and the opening of the show is August 10, and the reception is 5 to 7 p.m.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I love Kathy Rowe,
So please-
favorite person in the world.
Yeah, no, it's not Kathy, that is like the other vice president, Erin Redding.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
even know her. I'd love to
Yeah,
meet
there
her.
are two vice presidents in track. One is Kathy and one is Erin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a ceramic artist. She's a one. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So please do come and support her. You know,
Yeah.
it's her first show, so it's important. You know.
Yeah, thank you, we'll share it. All right, does anybody else have some exciting things to share?
Of course, reminding everyone, please come out to Porch Fest, see what we've done with our community enhancement grant, August 9th and 10th. 5:30 runs until 9:30. So please get on our website, come and see it. It's going to be awesome. We have 60 performers, over 60 performers now, over 30 venues.
Wow.
It'll be wild.
Did you say 30 venues? That's awesome.
Awesome.
More than 30.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
it's going to be really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Anybody else? Okay. 8:39 adjournment. Thank you very much.